Good morning, YouTube. This is the Fat Health Teacher signing in, checking in. I wanted to talk about my good news today. I interviewed for a job in December, and it looked like it was going really well. Everything felt fantastic, and then I was told that they had decided to go in another direction, and it was sad. But I was told that when they reposted the position, if they chose to repost the position, um, that they would like me to come back to interview again. So while I was on vacation in California, I was reading the mindset book, and the mindset book said that you've got to take risks, right? And if you don't have feedback, you're not going to be able to improve. So I sent the principal of this school a letter that said, "Hey, can I take you out for coffee or maybe a lunch? And can we talk about what happened during the interview?" Because I would like to improve my interview skills, right? And a lot of times you don't get that feedback. Well, anyway, a couple of weeks later, I got a phone call from her, and instead of talking about my interview skills, she invited me to interview again. And so I came in, and I wasn't quite sure what I was walking into. I knew that she wanted a health teacher. I knew that she needed somebody to run the grads program, which I'm going to explain in a little bit. But one of the reasons I was told that she had not hired me in December was because they're a charter school. And charter schools have a smaller budget than public schools. This school only serves 200 students, so we're talking it's a high school, so that's about 50 students per grade level, which is not a lot. And that means that um, each of their teachers pretty much has to be multiple role type teachers, right? So you might have teachers who are language arts and they're also doing a reading class and they're also doing history or something along those lines. Okay, they didn't have the ability to support me as a full-time teacher with a health class. Um, anyway, so I did the interview on Monday. I was really quiet about it because I didn't want to jinx anything. And on Tuesday, I get a phone call and I was offered a job. And I am so excited. Like, I cannot tell you how excited I am. And this is absolutely nothing to do with um, the job at my current school. Well, formerly current school. Um, I love that job. I love the kids. I will still love those kids. Um, Everyone there, I would say, is working hard to help those kids succeed. And I was so happy that I got to be part of that. Um, but I wanted to change things up a little bit, right? I actually finished my admin degree in 2014, I think, 2014. And I was looking at moving into administration, but nothing had really been revealing itself. And I didn't want to be stagnant, right? Stagnant is no good. It's good to keep learning, to keep challenging yourself. So this is one of the reasons that I interviewed for this position. And here's what so first, and something that my partner is totally jealous about, is my new hours are going to be from 11 in the morning to about 7 at night, except for Fridays. Fridays we do like a 9 to 4:30 or something along those lines. Um, Super exciting because now doctor's appointments are going to be easier to schedule. If I need to go do stuff at the bank, I could enroll out in a dance class that maybe takes place in the morning, or I could focus on going to the gym and actually participate in some of the classes that they offer instead of, having to rush through whatever because I don't have enough time. It also means I don't have to get up at 5 in the morning in order to work out before work, which is really cool. So, what am I going to be doing? Well, first, I'm going to be teaching health. And I'm going to be teaching high school health, which means I can have conversations with them that are going to be more in depth than I have had with my middle school students. And just because there's this age difference, I think with high school things are more emergent, right? Students are actively making choices that are going to impact the rest of their lives. In middle school, they still have more room to make mistakes, depending on what they've chosen, right? But in high school, like, the decisions are just, woo, Okay. And, I'm going to do high school. I'm going to stay here at this new school for probably at least 5 years. I want to make sure that I grow the program. I want to make sure that um, if and when I decide to move on, that they are set and somebody can just jump in and it's not some crazy, like, totally unorganized mess. Um, so I'm going to teach high school health, and I will also be running their grads program, which is the program for pregnant and parenting teens, which I'm really excited about. I haven't found out how many teens I'm going to have on my caseload, but it does serve both the mothers and the fathers. So fathers are more than welcome to participate. And the final thing I'm going to be doing is working as a community liaison. So what the principal talked with me about during both of my interviews was the possibility of setting up some sort of program. So this would almost be from scratch, um, in order to help our students make the transition from high school to being, contributing members of society, to having jobs or to going to school or whatever. And we talked about the fact that a lot of students just may not have had exposure. So you have your typical jobs, right? Like doctor, lawyer, that kind of stuff. Those may seem unattainable or things that these students just aren't interested in, which is totally okay. So I'm going to be looking at creating an intake program just to figure out what the kids are interested in, and then reaching out to the community to see what connections I can help them make in order to experience what's out there, because there is so much more out there than a lot of people even think about. And the best way I could explain this is when I first moved to Albuquerque and got my own place, I was living in the Nob Hill area. So if you don't know, it's kind of like, so it's a combination of rentals, but it's more like college professory type area. It's hard to explain. Anyway, but I loved it a lot. And I knew about stuff in the area where I was working. Well, the job at the middle school that I was at came up, and I didn't know anything about the area. I remember first coming to this area and thinking, they have a Blockbuster? And there's a Walmart right here? Like, I did not know that this stuff was there. I didn't know about the shops. I didn't know, like, what was in the community. I didn't know where the doctor's places were. Like, I didn't know any of this stuff. And of course, we don't have a Blockbuster anymore. But there are so many things in this area that I just didn't know exist until I moved to this area and started working here. So we want to expand the minds of our students as well. And I'm going to have the ability to take them on field trips, to do home visits, to possibly get them in to a volunteering program, things along those lines. But yeah, it's going to be a ground up thing. So if you are in the neighborhood, okay, so if you are in Albuquerque or even possibly Santa Fe, and you are working in a company that might have room for job shadows or anything like that, I would appreciate you messaging me with your contact information. Or if you know me in real life, you can, text or something along those lines, because I would like to give these students as many opportunities as they can to be successful. The way my new principal explained it is, the students that I'm going to be serving now, these are not the overachievers. These are not that group of kids where each one is participating in like 5 different extracurricular activities. These tend to be the kids that are in the back of the classroom and they're quiet and they just don't want things to be a big deal. They're just kind of trying to go along to get along. Okay? And we want to pull them out of their shells. We want to give them a voice, be advocates for them, help them to be successful. Okay. So let's move on to the next thing. Yesterday I got the keys to my room, and it's huge. Okay, this thing is bigger than like my dining room, kitchen, and living room put together. It's amazing. It's going to be a shared space, so at the very least I'm sharing with the PE teacher. I may also be sharing with the guitar class, which means anything that I'm kind of putting together, I'm not going to really be able to have it set, which is okay, because if you've ever like visited my room, you know that I move stuff around all the time, right? I don't like having static seating. it allows the kids to be complacent and things along those lines. So I don't want to do that. However, what I do want to do is I want to set up an area that's kid friendly. And we're talking like newborn-ish to, I'd say 4 or 5. I don't predict that any of our students are going to have kids older than that, but it's not outside the realms of possibility. But so like a carpet and maybe some books and some toys, things that the kids can play with on their own, things that their parents can do and just sit down with them, that type of stuff, because I want it to be a very welcome and open environment. I'm also looking to acquire at least one couch, maybe a recliner or a rocking chair, so that when I'm meeting with my students, they can just sit down, they can be comfortable. We can have that conversation about, where are you? What would you like help with? Do you know about these options? Etc. All right. I have so much to learn. It's insane. Grads is an existing program, but the implementation of it is so open-ended. I have so many options on what I can do in order to help support our pregnant and parenting teens. So yeah, I'm going to have one formal class, and the rest of it is going to be supporting our teenagers, our parenting and pregnant teens, and also creating this program that's going to help them shift into society. Okay, so what I would ask is if you have any gently used stuff, books, clothes, baby gear, anything like that, I would greatly appreciate your donation. I'm thinking that I could use some of whatever you are able to or willing to part with for use in the room, but I would also like to kind of have a stash of stuff if I have a teen who is only able to afford like the basic stuff. And we know when a kid's first born, really all they need is milk, diapers, and a warm place to sleep. Okay, it's nice to put them in clothes, but really, yeah, it is what it is. It's very basic. Like, you don't need all this fancy stuff. Society's kind of told us that we need all this stuff, like the wipe warmer and the special little bucket to get rid of the diapers and all of that kind of thing. But there are so many options. Anyway, some of our students won't be able to afford anything that might be considered a standard item for older parents, but would be more of a luxury item for them. So I'd like to have this stash of stuff that I could, not necessarily use as a reward, but say, hey, thank you for participating. We really are here to try to help you, and we want you to be successful. And here you go. Okay. Yeah, so contact me if you have anything that you'd be interested in parting with. You can reach me at fathealthteacher@gmail.com. And if you would like to give me any information. So once again, I am making a request for gently used items for my classroom and to pass on to our pregnant and parenting teens. And I'm also making requests for contact information for organizations within the Albuquerque / Santa Fe / Las Lunas / Belen / Moriarty community that will allow our students to get involved with things. And it can be volunteer opportunities, it can be job sharing, job shadowing, it could be an apprenticeship type program. I'm really looking at just like having this kind of go-to box that says, okay, what are you interested in? Let me see what I've got. Okay. Once again, you can reach me at fathealthteacher@gmail.com. And I'm going to go ahead and put that up here for you. This is the Fat Health Teacher signing out. Like I said, I'm having a fantastic time. I've got a lot to do. Thank you. Have a good day and enjoy the rest of your week. I will talk to you tomorrow when I am going to talk to you about some of the highlights from the Mindset book, which I finally finished. Thank you. Bye-bye.